Hey guys, a video for our castles and old buildings in Japan playlist. Some of you might remember this building. We did show it to you a few years ago. However, now we have much better access to it, so I want to get a bit closer to it, get some better video and show you some good bits again. In particular, this wall, see the holes at the top there and scattered around the wall. Those holes were put there by an American P-51 Mustang during World War II. So this building was actually built in 1898 as a brewery. However, during World War II it was used to store ammunition. So for that reason it was attacked pretty unsuccessfully by the P-51, shooting bullets at it. So it just was not enough, obviously, to do much damage at all, but enough that here we are 75 years later and we've still got these holes in the wall. So they actually did manage to recover some of the bullets that were fired on that particular day. And as you can see, 12.7mm bullets, so obviously it was fired at some velocity with an aeroplane behind it. However, not really enough to do a lot of damage. Particularly as the walls were built for insulation, because it was a brewery, they needed to maintain sort of special temperatures, correct temperatures. So this is what the wall looked like. So the outer wall is the thick bit on the right, and then there's the layers as insulation to keep the inside of the building just at the right temperature for the beer. So the chances of one of those little bullets finding its way through that wall was obviously pretty remote. So until recently we have not been able to get inside this building. So we see this building now and again in our travels. We've never been able to get inside. Recently they opened it to the public. So they've made the ground floor, as you can see, sort of like a museum, showing you what it used to be like when it was a brewery. So lots of historical stuff in there. So it's made it sort of interesting. They've renovated it perhaps a little bit too much. They've put air conditioning and lighting and a new floor and things like that in there, which is a bit of a shame. And apparently the second and third floors haven't been renovated, but they won't let anybody up there because they say it's too dangerous, which is a little bit of a shame, because to see it in its original condition would be obviously of more interest to us. Here's some pictures from upstairs, some photos from upstairs. So that's where we'd like to go with our camera, and we did try, but they tilted their heads and sucked through their teeth and said, oh no, we can't go up there because it's too dangerous, they said. Bit of a shame. Anyway, we get a bit of an idea, don't we, from down here. Lots of brick, lots of timber. So end of the Meiji period, it was one of the biggest brick buildings built in Japan during the Meiji era. You can sort of see a bit of a Tudor influence, particularly from the outside. So that's fairly typical of the Meiji period, as a lot of you guys already know. There was some fairly heavy outside influences going on during the Meiji, particularly when it came to architecture. So you can sort of see a bit of a Tudor influence there, can't you? Here it is now. So it survived pretty well, of course, all those years. Brick buildings don't always survive in Japan because obviously they don't respond very well to earthquake. So that's that building, and then nearby there was a few more we thought you might be interested in. Some old houses. This is a dock area, a very old dock area, so lots of old buildings, and some of them have been beautifully maintained. So you've got a really old izakaya there on the right, still being used, still being operated. Not on this particular day, but on other days it's open. And then on the left there you can see a kura, you can see an old storehouse in beautiful condition, with some classic old doors up the top there. Look at that. Beautifully maintained. You know we love our storehouses. That's a good example, that one. Very good. Very interesting little area this was. Lots and lots of old buildings. So a couple more for you. Here's another one, another kura, another storehouse. So there's lots of storehouses in this area because it was next to a dock. So there's some really big ones like this one. Obviously it's a big huge commercial storehouse. Those other ones were obviously smaller ones attached to small businesses. These are big warehouses used to store alcohol and vinegar were the two things that they made in this particular area, alcohol and vinegar. So brought them down here to the dock to load them onto boats, and then from there they're taken by ship all around Japan. Some more warehouses there on the other side of the river. So the sailing boats used to come up here and collect all that stuff and then take it off and around the outside of Japan. Quickest way, of course, in the old days to get things around Japan, get big things around Japan, was to throw them on a ship and sail them around. Some nice storehouses over there, aren't there? Look at that. Anyway, hopefully someone enjoyed that. More videos coming soon.